Thicker Than Water by Ralph Henry Barbour and George Randolph Osborne. Adapted and narrated by me, Summer Washburn.
Dr. Burrows, summoned from the operating room, greeted his friend from the doorway. "Sorry, Harry, but you'll have to go on without me. I've got a patient on the table. I can't leave. Make my excuses, will you?" "There's still an hour," replied the visitor. "I'm early. I can wait." "Then come in with me." Markham followed him into the operating room. White-walled, spotless, smelling faintly of ether and antiseptic. On the table lay the sheeted form of a young girl. Only the upper part of her body was visible, and around her neck were wet, blood-stained bandages. "A strange case," said the surgeon. "She was brought in from a sweatshop 2 hours ago. A stovepipe fell and cut an artery in her neck. She's bleeding to death. Blood's supposed to be thicker than water, but hers isn't. Poor girl. If it would clot, she might pull through. Or I could save her with a transfusion, but we can't find any relatives, and there's almost no time left." The nurse entered. "The patient's brother is here," she said, "and he's asking to see her." "Her brother?" The surgeon's face lit up. "What's he like?" "About 20, doctor. Looks strong and healthy." "Bring him in, nurse. Tell him the situation, that his sister will die unless he gives some of his blood to save her." "Or wait. Harry, you do it. Your job is persuasion. Make believe he's a jury, but put it strong, old man. And hurry, every minute counts." The young man stood stiffly in the waiting room. Only the paleness of his skin and the worry in his eyes gave away how frightened he was. Markham explained everything quickly and plainly. "Dr. Burrows says it's our only chance," he finished. The boy took a sharp breath and went pale.
You mean Nell'll die if someone don't swap his blood for hers?
"Unless the blood she's lost is replaced—" "Well, quit beefin'," interrupted the other roughly. "I'm here, ain't I?" When he stepped into the operating room, he let out a low cry of pain, leaned over the table, and pressed his lips to his sister's forehead. When he straightened up, his eyes were full of tears. He nodded to the surgeon. He gave himself over to the procedure, stiff and almost defiant. But once the artery was opened and his blood began flowing into her, his face changed to something like quiet resignation. Several times he sighed heavily, as if the pain wasn't in his body but somewhere deeper. The silence in the room felt oppressive. To Markham, it seemed like hours before the surgeon finally looked up and nodded to the nurse.
"You're a brave lad," he said cheerfully to the boy. "Your sacrifice has won."
The boy, pale and weak, tried to smile. "Thank God," he murmured. Then, his mouth trembling, "So, how long before I croak?" "You're not going to die at all," the surgeon said gently, surprised. "You'll be fine tomorrow." He turned, frowning to Markham. "Didn't you tell him there was no danger to him?" I don't think I did," Markham stammered. "I was so focused on getting him to agree. Are you saying he thought—" The surgeon nodded and turned back to the boy. "You are not going to die," he said gently. "You'll be all right tomorrow. But I'm deeply sorry you suffered as much as you must have suffered the past hour. You were braver than any of us suspected. Ah, that's all right, muttered the boy. She's my sister, ain't she? And that was thicker than water. If any of the words in today's story were new to you, I've listed them below with links to their definitions. Take a look and feel free to come back to this video anytime. Thanks for reading with me. See you next time.